At the bus stop again, and was that coming in or going out? Oh, it was coming in. Locked the rear wheels on entry to the first left-hander. That was very early in the car. Pla's got it going. No, this is it's out of. It was just behind the bit of a Rolex of it going into there, just missing his braking point. And as he turned in, all four Michelin's locked up before he spun off. Did he make contact with the tyre?
Is that one of the Acuras?
That is one of the Acuras, yes, Jeremy, going through there. It is the 8th car he was battling with at the moment. It's the NSX number 93 that he was battling with. Just gone through. Oh no, through the kink, got onto the right-hand curb. Didn't it? Crew and officials. Now, little incident a moment or two ago out on the circuit when the Porsche 912, and very scary moment indeed, with right underneath the Ferrari. It was up on its jacks, the Lamborghini, excuse me, all on fire, thick black smoke coming out from underneath that car, and very difficult to fight that because it was so far underneath the Lamborghini.
Yeah, that was a big old bonfire, wasn't it? Very scary moment there for the Dream Racing Motorsport team based out of Las Vegas, and no gambling there. That was made sure that everybody was safe.
Correct.
Driver change.
Might as well get them out there. Now, a few moments ago, the 93 Acura was in the thick of the action again as the 98 Aston had a spin. 12 has just gone out. It's Nick Damon's end of things. Are the core racing team ready to receive this car, Nick?
Yeah, they've got the 911 bright orange indicator board. Now I'm wondering whether it's got another problem in the front right again.
Nick, there is a problem. It's grounding out. The front end of the 14 car is being ripped off. If it is a touch, it's one of the Corvettes. It's not a touch. It was just too much right foot from the very experienced Scott Pruitt. He had gone a little bit wide coming out of turn one, and it just looked to me as he was coming round. I just saw the Corvette behind him briefly, and I thought there might have been a tap. Wonder if, well, offline, it's going to be extremely slippery. Talking to the drivers and the mechanics from Audi earlier on, Jeremy, about just how quickly this track evolves on the racing line. The rubber comes on, you set the cars up to be loose at both ends, and then they're tightened up as the race goes on. A little too loose, I think, there for Scott.
Yeah, it was almost like in NASCAR when you talk about.
And that is the result. So the 70 car rejoining. And which car did it make contact with? It was the 10.
Oh,
the 10
it was
car.
Jeff Gordon.
Correct. And that's the issue for me. Why was the pit lane not closed when you've got a restart? And it's just, there is no space for a rejoining car there. I mean, Jeff Gordon went a little bit too hot into the corner, I think. Did he miss the apex? Yes, he did. He was never going to get around that corner anyway, to be fair.
No, and again, for me, that is a function of the...
Because you haven't got much more of the lap before the line, haven't you? So
yeah, but it's through that section that you're not supposed to be gaining an advantage.
Okay.
So you know, if you went in behind someone, you need to make sure you come out behind them as well.
Yes.
And the point being on the lap times there for Seb Morris, he certainly has lost time, because Jeremy was saying a few minutes ago the gap was up over 20 seconds. Well, it's back down again, just under 20 seconds. So
no penalty. 4 new Michelin tires, driver change. Dirk Werner has gotten out, and Fred Makovecki has jumped behind the wheel of that car. But we also had the number 70 Mazda. It was stationary on the pit lane. They had actually turned the car off and plugged a data cable into it. Full tank of fuel, no tires for that car, as the engineers were examining.
Pushed the Fesler. He's right up. Yes, he was pushed by the second of the. It was Harry Tinknell who's turned him around in the 69 car. He was, oh, and it stalled as well, right in front. So up on poor Marcel Fesler. He was trying to have a go at one of them. He gets a big clout from the 5th position car as it was. Very smart driver. He was coming off the banking and he just cut out. All the electrics cut out. My goodness, very close to one of the Cadillacs. That was the Wayne Taylor racing car. The leader, Max Angelelli, very nearly picking him up because he would have had no rear lights there. All of the electrics died Vesla.
Oh, it'd be interesting to find from Paul how long it spent in the pits, whether it actually had stopped first or just came through as a straight run.
Second in the pits, which would be about the right time for a normal pit stop. So I would guess they put fuel in that car, sent him on his way, but it was only 20 laps onto his stint.
Eric Curran trying to go for
That's the only one they have that has lights that work. And the 5 is away. The 5 is away, and I think he's going to beat the 10. Nope, the 10 just is going to pull out in front of him. That was close.
that.
There's a spinner.
Spin,
well.
Too much curb on the entrance to it. That's what it is. Wet weather now. Nick Damon down in the pit lane.
The flurry of the other prototypes not called a Cadillac, apart from the 81, which unfortunately went out a lap ago, it swapped out Nicolas Lapierre for Loic Duval. But
And Gisbergen has lost a wheel or punctured a tyre on the outlap. It's the right-hand side, right front, is it? Excuse me, it's Cooper McNeil that got in there. Van Gisbergen got out. The rear right-hand side of Wilson is joining us in the booth. 4 cars wide a moment ago, coming out of the International Horseshoe and just about sorting it out. And that was the Cadillac, one of the Cadillacs at the head of the field. My goodness, to see
a car stopped on anywhere near the racing line, it just kills me.
Spins and goes around, and that is the 31 behind it, the second place Cadillac. And my goodness, Mike Conway to
Category and has led most of the way. Jeremy.
Yeah, no, 2 things. The 46 car was stopped on track, but where's the number 31 car? Whoops, there's
That's the Lamborghini, Jeremy, of Francois Perrodo.
And the Lexus was really good in the dry conditions, but once you get kind of stuck in the traffic.
Nightmare. It started out with the fueling fire early on in the stint, and when the car trundled down the pit lane well before the pits closed, I'd say a solid 30 seconds.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, René is doing his thing out there, and like I said before, we have to stay out of trouble and keep our nose clean.
To the Ford, and it's at the bus stop, hits the inside curb coming out of the bus stop, the right hand curb, sets the car off and spins up the track and goes who was gaining on him coming out of the corner.
I don't think there was contact,
but we don't see that. Let's have a word with Tony Kanaan, TK, fresh from the... See, I like talking to you because now you're going to go and find out, aren't you?
Absolutely.
I can feel an email coming on even as we speak, and just have no grip whatsoever. Also in the mix there are is the Ford 66 gone through the and ask what the drive-through was for Max Angelelli, the number 10, if you don't mind. Take the curb on the inside there, it really unsettles the car.
He's lost it on the braking way before.
On the way in and spun it around.
So he has hit the wall, and reasonably hard.
There was somebody in front of him having a moment there as well. In fact, there was 2 or 3 cars
I'm astonished.
coming down into the braking area. He's spun that on his own. He's definitely spun that on his own. The car that was on the high side was nowhere near him. The car on the low side was the closest, and I don't think was close enough. It's 1, 2 rotations, then a tap of the rear left.
Then he scrapes along the wall.
And then he just... And coming out of turns 1 and 2, loops it around and has hit the inside wall, exactly as we thought. So Cooper McNeil then.
Well, so does a whole string of cars in GTLM. Ricard Leitz in car number 912 is next.
So that's why it has fallen down, yes.
PC car.
Presuming is that a replay or not?
It's not a replay, no. This is live action for the number 8 the class in a really difficult year for Aston Martin 2013. But Fred McAvickie up until that point was thoroughly enjoying. Kira's there, a big old wiggle. I think that was contact maybe with this Monteplas car, which again goes wide again. So the Land Motorsport machine at turn 6, Ricky Taylor rather, on the inside line, and Albuquerque having to go high and wide. This might be Ricky Taylor's chance. He went lower than the Ferrari, although Albuquerque for the last few laps has preferred that high line. I reckon Ricky Taylor might have track position though by the time they get down to the bus stop here.
He has. He's going to box him in, I think, behind a GTD car as well. Is he? The 2 of them split.
There was on the circuit, now the bus stop, and was there contact indeed with a hoodless at Lamborghini, number 27. Yes, there was side-to-side contact on the exit of the bus stop there, Jeremy.
Yeah, the 98 car sort of nearly, 30 laps off after problems early on. Scott Dixon is driving the number 67 car, but not in contention and down in 10th place.
Only loses you around about 15 to 20 seconds. So
no, it's more than that.
You think with the Patrick Pilet, Sebastian Bourdais battle, Bourdais having just gone out to start a second stint at the wheel of the 66 Ford at the moment.
Width to driver's left to get by that bodywork, which is split in two. Now, did it just suddenly get sucked underneath the car out of the blue? No, it's got sucked above the car, nearly clouded the driver on the head there.
The headlamp had already gone. There was that might well have been
themselves and the leading three who are still on the same lap.
Still problems for the prototypes trying to get the heat in the tyres, and a huge slide from the number 90 coming down into the first corner. There's a car on the right-hand side as Renger van der Zande going round the outside of a couple of GT cars, has to put two of the Continental tyres on the right-hand side of that number 90 Multimatic Riley off.
That's 2 or 22. It's the, I think it's the 2.
Yes,
it is the 2.
And now, well, Travis Roffler of Continental will be delighted to get that coverage as he swerves out right in front of a BMW. That beat. So difficult times with just under 5 hours. And guess what? He has gone off at one and rear wheels. Your position, you can't just elbow your way in, and coming through the international horseshoe, the side of Antonio Garcia there's a touch, and there's dirt and rubbish and tyre debris and grass and
they sat in the seat next to them in the test cars as they were approving the cars, and I think took a wide line. Yeah, got his left rear onto the painted yellow curb.
You need to have the car, you need to have the tires, but today I really feeling confident, and
carried too much speed to the corner and it was off the road.
Now, it was an unconventional pit entry for the 69 car.
It was probably also an illegal pit entry because he didn't come in between those two cones.
The pylons, yeah. The Renger van der Zande 90 car is the Multimatic Riley that leads. Let's go down to Nick Damon for this Continental Tyre pit lane report as the leader is in the pits. Nick Damon, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And Renger van der Zande hops out, and one of his teammates gets in.
Nick, we've got the Mazda on fire coming down the pit lane.
Yes.
The back of the Mazda is alight.
It's ablaze. It's pulling into its position. The man is there with the its left-hand bank. Looks like an oil fire, and they are
crash on the back straight.
Except the pits are closed now,
yes,
and I believe the number 86 car didn't stop at its pit. I think, and that was one of the last ones to come. So whether the number
set up well then for Speedway Turn 3, the Monteplas by Lance Motorsport Audi with a potential issue. Yeah, a bit of bodywork filing up
of essential fluid, and Sam Bird climbed.
You know, these endurance races are no longer endurance races, just in general. I mean, this is a 24-hour sprint race, and you know, we had a good battle out there with, I think it was Bleekemolen, I guess, was in the car, and you know, he's a great driver, and obviously he races you really clean, so we had to get up with the 29. So really pleased with the stint, and can't thank everybody Stevens Motorsports enough. I mean, Audi Sport R8's been fast. I mean, we struggled a little bit in certain times, but I think like we have a good car that'll help us race to the end, and Andrew's going to do a little bit.
It's to end now.
Well, it takes the race. I think there's some lessons to be learned. I think that certainly, I tend to agree, there's got a clash there, and that is the 68 Ford being rather assaulted.
Patrick Pilet coming from a very long way back. He gets a better drag out of turn 5. That was swaps to the inside, and then he's not there. He's not there. He's got it.
His transponder from the 911 car, because that car has now jumped back into the
traffic again that I was mentioning. So heading off the tri-oval, here comes the 10 car, braking but not sufficiently, and there was no gap there for me.
No.
Ricky Taylor went for a closing door, and it was a spin in the end for Philippe Albuquerque, wincing on the Pratt perch there. Oh man,